These masks are too hot. Can't breathe, bro.
I haven't heard of them.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you all to our October 2020 work session meeting. If you choose to do so, I ask you that you stand as we have a moment of silence, a prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Dear Father, we come today on behalf of doing business for the Warren County citizens. We ask that you come in the midst of us with meaningful discussion, completion of your will. In all things we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, some is a little bittersweet for us, but just want to recognize two individuals. One of them is bitter. She knows where I'm going with this, but our finance director, Miss Bradford, this is her last meeting with us, and she's retiring. Ms. Bradford, you've been wonderful to us, and we definitely will miss you. I know retirement is a major accomplishment in life, and but we're just glad to call you Warren County citizen. You've been here, I know, for a very long time, and your family's here, whatever. But we're gonna miss you. And if you all would just let's give Ms. Bradford a round of applause. Ms. Bradford, you don't want to say anything?
I have enjoyed working with you all, and you all are a great bunch to work with, and I appreciate the staff that I have and my fellow department directors, and Warren County has really been a good place to work, and I'm going to miss you all too. And thank you for the opportunity to let me have served as your finance director.
Thank you, Ms. Bradford. Once again, please. I'm going to yield to our county manager and let him introduce his staff members.
Sure. Thank you, Chair. We have a new department director who has been on board with us for about a month. We tried to ease her in to operations, and she has hit the ground running. And that is Miss Beverly Foster. Beverly, would you mind just waving or saying? All right. Beverly is local. She is from Franklin County. sometimes spend some time with her parents on their lake house. But she has jumped right in and has been doing a great job with us in human resources for the county. So we look forward for her having a long tenure with us. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Ms. Beverly, I want you to also recognize the Board of Commissioners here. I know you met Ms. Baker, but right here, if you would just call you, we have Commissioner Pierce, Vice Chairman Commissioner Hunt, and Commissioner Walter Powell. So we welcome you, and you've already hit the ground running, as Mr. Jones has stated, but we look forward for you working with us and keeping things straight with us, and just welcome aboard. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we've got quite of an agenda tonight, and we're gonna jump right into it and take care of the business that's before us. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen of the board, we're gonna identify with item number 2, which is Department of Head Reports. And we have Soil and Water Conservation, Mr. Larry West, the director. I know this is a written report, but if the director wants to come up and say anything, I would definitely give them that opportunity. What?
It's Gary.
Gary.
Gary Holmes.
Mr. Holmes. Sorry. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. As you know, Mr. West, or you might not know, he's out of elderly. We are continuing on with everyday operations. As you can see in our report there, our state of allocated is $75,090 for program money to assist or reimburse landowners and operators to do good management practices. They also provided another a little over 21,000 for salary and benefits, and then you get another little over $1,300 for the expenses. Last year, we were able to reimburse the landowners and operators for $44,438 practices that were certified. We work in school systems, contests, we usually do a poster contest for the state. Do several other contests, and COVID-19 is going to present a challenge this year. We're trying to fully involve. We assist other agencies, especially for extension. We also address issues around Lake Gaston. Usually, we might call, especially good Lord opportunities to rank on folks who have questions about our water. And we were able to assist petitions to roads this year. And then we work with our sister agency, USDA, Northwest. Some of their programs, and they in turn assist us with ours. And then the Department of Agriculture, North Carolina, also provides us training. We've been fortunate enough to be doing that on Zoom, and that seems to be working out fairly well. It still doesn't do in person, hands-on. You got to adapt for this situation. I'll have any questions on further information.
All right, Board of Commissioners, any questions for Ms. Host? All right, thank you, sir, for your report. Thanks for what y'all do over there.
Thank you. Thank you for all the support y'all give our report.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you. All right, we have Mr. Charles Berger, who is the Director of Information Technology. We do have your report, but if you want to say something, we'll hear it to you.
Good evening, sir. All that are present tonight. The department head came up, I figured I might have to come up as well. But I just want to thank you for the opportunity to come before you and just to share a few things that I know is written out there before you. But I'm mighty proud of the fact that one, and it probably should have been my bulletin, the one is that how much effort we were able to put towards making sure that we had remote access during the COVID or while we're under this pandemic, especially at the health department, being that they couldn't bring a lot of people in on site. They were able to access their files and access whatever documentation that they needed remotely and securely at that. And we're even going a little bit further now that we've stood up or upgraded security devices, with some Meraki devices to make that VPN a little bit better for them. Oh, and see you. Yeah, all right, thank you so very much. We upgraded the county email service. Thank you all for signing off on that, and that has helped us by co-locating it. We have less downtime on the server. The vendor that we're dealing with, they just installed generators for. We have some power outages in Henderson, so they put a backup generator at their location, and this gives us great access to email. We can access it from anywhere. It is cloud-based as well, and so we have calendars, we can share calendars, we have global address books, so that all of Warren County is in there. All you have to do is search for them, send emails. Increased network capabilities with further deployment of Meraki network equipment. This is going to help build the infrastructure for the phone system that you all have approved, that we can start to look for and start to try to implement. So thank you all for that as well. It added a secondary domain controller to the Warren County Health Department, which helped redundancy after having a failure there and only having one server. We had to rebuild everything from scratch. So now that we have a second one, this gives us some redundancy and some fellows. They make it all and stand up and do the best. We just work diligently along, follow vendors, and work with Dennis and his team to make sure that happens. We redesigned the Warren County Health Department website. It looks a whole lot better. If you ever get a chance to take a look, and then we'll continue to maintain a high level of commitment and consistency in service and support of our county departments. So we just try to make sure, we don't do a lot so much, so to speak, for the public on a day-to-day basis, other than trying to make sure all of our websites and all of our accesses are available if somebody needs to be reached. And so, thank you so very much for allowing me to have this opportunity to have a question. I'll try to answer them for you this time.
All right. Board of Commissioners, any question for Mr. Burwell?
Okay, one.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, can you give us a timeline when the phone system, timeline phone system will be in place?
Well, I have just gone out, I'm waiting for 2 quotes to come back. The quote that we had given a few years ago, of course, things have changed, prices have gone up. And so I've been asked to have at least 2. And so I'm waiting for those to come back. And hopefully by November, we will have some hard numbers and we can start to talk what it's going to take to get to that point, because that's a pretty big project of outfitting the whole entire county with the same phone system. So I won't give you a hard deadline as to when it will be implemented, but hopefully by November, we will have something to start running with.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Burwell.
Thank you, sir.
All right. All right, next up is Economic Development Report, Ms. Charlotte Duncan, and this is verbal, of course, just like the others.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm just going to hit the highlights on my report, if that's okay, but I'm happy to answer any questions along the way. So our current EDC office operations, of course, we're still managing, seeing folks and working with folks by appointment only. We're handling that business over the phone. I have been meeting with some folks in person. I will say last week, our workforce development person finally started. She's from the National Black Caucus and Center on Black Aging. And so she lives here in the county. She'll be working with me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you call here, and it's not me that answers the phone. So in new and existing industries, I just want to give you a quick update on Project Bridge, since that is the building reuse grant application that you approved making at your last meeting. We are a little bit behind and we won't make the cycle for October, so we'll be submitting that application in January. The just want to keep you posted that it might be a few more months before we hear about it. We had some setbacks on the business end, but still moving forward with that. And under business assistance, we have been working on a draft for an existing industry survey. This is something that we want to make sure we're doing, if not annually, every 2 years. And this is collecting data on our businesses, things that we can't get from the state or federal level. So demographics of our business owners, for example, how many business owners do we have under the age of 40, over the age of 40, things like that. Who's renting, who owns their property, what's their average rental rate. There hasn't been a database developed for us, and so I actually went live with that survey today. So it's been posted on Facebook, and we'll get a press release out, and hoping to collect data in December if we want to do our 2020 survey. Just a reminder that the COG is currently accepting loan applications for the Open for Business revolving loan for COVID relief. So I just want to make sure the public knows and that we're going out and reminding folks that they can apply for a zero interest loan for 5 to 10 year terms. And there's still plenty of funds available. Currently, only one business has received a loan here in Warren County. Frontier Warren under projects and partnerships is moving forward. The town and I actually interviewed an NC Works candidate to be in this space, running that space. So we're excited about that opportunity, and she should be able to start with, next week. So hopefully more to come on that, and we can really open that co-working space with safety measures in place, of course, and advertise for businesses to come there and use that co-working space. I've been working a lot with the schools around partnerships and connectivity, as well as with the Board of Education on the community forum that you all know about. So that's been a big part of my projects and partnerships work. The county manager and I, as far as strategy and planning goes, we had a great meeting with some of the administrative staff from the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, looking at tools and partnership possibilities for us to use in Warren County. Quick update on grants out of economic development. We did submit our EPA brownfield assessment grant, which guys approved for us to make it $300,000. That's no match. Thank you to Kathy for getting that submitted for us on grants.gov. We finally heard back today from Commerce. If you remember some time ago with Project Mulch, you approved making an application for the utility fund for the water line extension for Heritage Mulch out in Soul City. That application was never actually made at that time. And so we had to redo that and work with Commerce, and we rebooted it and we're good to go, and we submitted it and hope to hear back from that soon. And of course, we had a ribbon cutting at our new NC Works. Well, it's not ours, NC Works is from Commerce, but it's a partnership. That's at the Advanced Granville Warren campus. So I just want to remind folks that we have that center at the Warren campus now. And last thing, under tourism and development, we've been working on new ways to advertise, including accessing the Visit NC marketing credit program. So we did get a $10,000 marketing credit that we're going to use towards social media and mobile marketing, and look at the analytics back on that. And working on building out our sales and use tax tracking so that we can get a better sense of trends for our sales and use tax, and then in turn use that to inform some of our strategy for economic development moving forward. And I think I have notes written all over the place, but I think that's it, unless you can see something on there you want me to address.
Board of Commissioners. All right, thank you, Ms. Dunn.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, item number 3, library operations, Ms. Cheryl Reddish.
Good evening.
Good
evening.
I'd like to just present a brief summary of the Warren County Memorial Library Services. As of September 21st, we are open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. for the public. We're very excited about that. We provide 3 levels of service. There's phone service, where we answer most of our questions are regarding how do people connect to e-resources and technology. We offer lobby
the next phase is lobby services, but we, also no contact will pick up, where you can place the book on hold, we go to the book, we fill that hole and then put it in the bag, people can walk in the lobby, and pick them up, so they don't have to come in the library. And a lot of people really love that service. And then now we're in our limited in-building services, where patrons can browse. We offer copy and printing, faxing, and literacy and technology. Public and staff safeguards are, we require face coverings to enter the building, that's staff included. They are also provided enclosed workstations, and they perform COVID-19 health screenings and attempt check. We observe 6 foot social distancing. Our seating is limited because we have to provide the social distancing. Our restrooms, computers, and high traffic areas are sanitized at least 3 times. And as needed, we do it all the time, but we know at least 3 times we're gonna get that done. Return books and other items are quarantined for 4 days. And we have extended checkout available for people who may not can come, every 2 weeks. We extend that service. Big kudos to Building Grounds, EMS services, IT department, and the entire library staff. This is a community partnership that we all do together. Okay, technology usage, I'm trying to go back, y'all. Free Wi-Fi is available in the building and 24/7 in the parking areas. We offer 3 levels of that also, because some people just want to express. We have computers set up now so they can walk in, do what they need to do, it's near the circulation area, we can help. There's a 1 hour traditional, where they can go to the computer instead. And then we also have long-term, where a person will be in our tutor room, and it's enclosed, and they can stay there as long as they want. We have access to 81,000 e-resources. The users retrieved about 5,000 digital items in FY 18-19. And this year, they retrieved 35,000. So they're using broadband. We don't have it everywhere, but they get access to it wherever they can. So I think that's really, really great. The community room has been transformed into a virtual learning area. As of today, we've had 61 students that have utilized that area. Public meetings are available Fridays from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. We've also distributed over 400 NC digital cards for students to the school media centers. We also distribute calendars, book bundles, and event information. Virtual programming is offered through Zoom and Facebook Live. We have Zoom Book Club, we have Facebook Story Hour, chapter books, and we're starting this new program called Let's Read. And we are encouraging volunteers to come in and record some reading for us. If you're interested, please let us know. We'll get it recorded and up on our website. Please do.
Okay, that's cool.
We have a makeshift recording studio. It's great. Okay, when we were close to the public, we were unable to work on our MC partner resource sharing project. And the staff, we worked with over 35,000. That's what I'm saying. We began processing over 9,000 new library cards. You have a new library card.
Yes.
Hey,
Thank you.
And we developed a new logo, try to brush it up a little bit. And if we have not activated, so if you want to activate it, you can call me. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Ms. Baker? Okay, and then you get it for Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Jones.
Sure, thank you, Chair. I don't have a question, but I really wanted to recognize Ms. Reddish and the library staff. A lot of people thought that when we were closed that they were not working. But as you just mentioned, they were working. And so it's a great accomplishment for us to get our books recoded. You all have your new library cards as a result of it. But she has been the first department that's fully open during the pandemic. And so I wanted to recognize her and the rest of our team that's helped make that possible. If you haven't gone to the library, please go by and take a look at the safety measures that are in place to not only keep our staff, but the patrons when they visit the library. So I just wanted to commend Ms. Reddish for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for supporting.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, Mr. Jones, he stole my thunder, but it's okay. But, yeah, I'm just looking at your numbers, Ms. Reddish. And like Mr. Jones said, in this pandemic, that, you still was working. And, you know, you had over 500 people coming through. Now, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. Y'all took a chance because, we got protocols in order to protect you all, but you boldly, took in patrons and stood and understand the necessity of having the library open. And that speaks volumes. It really does. And your outreach has been incredible because I'm looking at your website visits, they've gone up. So you've been doing outreach and say, hey, look, if you can't come in, this is some other things that you can do. And I just want to say really thank you. I know the Board of Commissioners, we all just thank you for y'all determination to make sure that Warren County citizens are able to function under these circumstances. So thanks again.
Thank you, and I'll try to make sure that they work really well.
Absolutely. And I would like to get mine,
Okay, I will take care of that. Everybody on the act, I will.
I want to add to the numbers.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna move to item number 4, which is the Boys and Girls Club update. And Mr. Jones, I'm just gonna turn that over to you.
Sure, thank you, Chair. As a result of the conversation that you all had about us trying to assist Warren County students with access to broadband while we are in a virtual learning mode, the library is offering an option. We also have stood up an option here. But simultaneous to that, we began the conversation with the Boys and the Girls Club. They have a new executive director, Mr. Jones. He is here with his staff tonight to introduce himself. And they'll also talk about the possibility of them assisting us with our students getting access to broadband and services while they're in a virtual learning mode for Warren County. So, Mr. Jones, you can come up and introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jones, and thank you everyone for the opportunity to give them before you today. My name is DJ Jones, I'm the new president CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of North Central North Carolina. We currently operate 11 sites in 5 counties, including Warren County. We have 2 sites here, one at Northside and one at Marion Boyd. With me, I have our Chief Operating Officer, Jacqueline Robinson, and also our area director that serves Warren County, Ms. Evelyn Taylor. And so they're here to support us tonight through this initiative. Boys and Girls Club, we are a youth development program that serves young people ages 6 to 18, basically school-age young people. And we look to promote activities in 3 priority outcome areas, which are academic success, good character and citizenship, and healthy lifestyles. In Warren County, last year we served over 220 young people between the 2 sites in those areas, and look to continue to be able to expand our program in the community. I do want to thank you all for your contribution that you make to the club every year. You don't understand the impact that it has on our young people to be able to provide the services that we do provide. One thing I do want to let you all know is once I get to a new organization, I got here March 2nd, COVID came the next week. People blame me for bringing COVID with me. I look at some of the demographics and some of the numbers just to see what we're working with. And there's one tool that I always use, it's called a roadmap of need. And it's a third-party report that's provided by the North Carolina Center for After-School Programs. And what that report does, it rates all 100 counties in the state of North Carolina on 4 different domains, which are health, education, youth behavior, and economic development. And it's based on our young people. It rates it based on our young people. And when I look at all of the different stats, I look at Warren County in particular for this meeting today. And in health, Warren County ranks 87 out of 100 counties. In youth behavior, Warren County ranks 40th out of 100 counties. In education, Warren County ranks 98 out of 100 counties. In economic development, Warren County ranks 86 out of 100 counties. And there's different indicators that makes up that total from different reports that we can pull it from. And feel free to definitely go to their website and look at the information for yourself. But This lets us know, not that it's a challenge, but it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for our young people to provide some impactful program. It's nothing that Boys and Girls Club can do alone. It's a community effort. It takes local government and municipalities. It takes a school system. It takes law enforcement. It takes the library. Nobody can do it alone. But we can all come together and determine what the gaps are and fill those gaps. We can definitely make an impact on the young people in our community. As Boys and Girls Club, that's all we want to do. We want to figure out what that gap is and how we can meet that need. One of the needs is the remote learning aspect. Our clubs right now, Warren County currently closed because we're school-based, and we're not allowed to be in the schools right now. So our team had a great opportunity to talk with Mr. Jones and Ms. Duncan about the opportunity of running a remote learning site here in the Armory. 3 of our counties have clubs that are open right now. They work a remote 8 to 5, Monday through Thursday. So young people come in, they do their assignments first, and then the rest of the day, they get their Boys and Girls Club fees. So they have a well-rounded program. And so that's the opportunity that we've spoken about, having it right here, not only for our current members, but even some of those drop-in students that may come up and need a place. We can roll those young people into our membership, support them with the remote learning, make sure they're fed, we feed them a lunch and a snack each and every day. And then also to get that other Boys and Girls Club piece, to get that engagement with the staff and their peers in some different activities. And I think my colleague has said it so many times, Jacqueline, that it's like the first time in Boys and Girls Club 150 plus history that's been safer for our young people to be at home than to be in the club. Usually we see the Boys and Girls Club as a safe haven, but with all going around with COVID, we have to make sure that they're ultimately safe when they come into our program. And so this is a great opportunity for us. We thank Mr. Jones and Ms. Duncan for the opportunity to speak about and possibly partner and provide a remote learning site right here at the Armory, not only for our current club members, but other students that's in the greater Warren County community.
So when can you start?
We're looking at November the 9th. We know this is still used for elections, and so we're looking at a timeline of November 9th.
Okay.
Some of that will be based on staffing, but we definitely we can bring in a small cohort of young people to continue to build up as we have more staff that come on. The easy part of the program itself, we already got a blueprint and game plan how to do that. All the COVID requirements, and keep to make sure the kids are safe and the building is disinfected and clean. We already have that training and that apparatus in place. It's just simply as getting the right people to come in and support us today. And there's our recruiting kids, so let them know, hey, this is your day. This is what we're gonna be at. Come on.
Okay. Board of Commissioners, any questions, comments?
I do have one question.
Yes.
So when school is ready to start back up, I think it's awesome if you're able to do it here at the Armory. But when school is ready to start back up, you do see plans on being back at Northside and being back at Marion Boyd?
That's our current plan, yes. But it's a different conversation. I would love to have you on another time, but the remote learning is what we want to talk about right now. And definitely when school goes back up, we'll be able to provide those programs back at those sites.
All right, well, thank you. We look forward to working with you. Like I said, we got a rich history in working with the Boys and Girls Club. We'd like to continue that practice. I see your hand up, Mr. Jones.
Sure, I just wanted to thank Mr. Jones and his staff for helping us out. Based on the board's conversation, we started off with our drop-in center, and our employees have been volunteering to sort of help keep it running. And so it was discussed if the Boys and Girls Club could help us take on that responsibility. And we think we would see more people taking advantage of it. Right now, our students are mostly going to the library. We have had some minimal interest in this space, and so to have an organized program there, we think would be a better option.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the outreach should be there too, be directed at the outreach of it, getting the word out. So that sounds great. Thank you so much, Mr.
I do have
Jones.
one question. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
sorry about it. Like Mr. Jones was mentioning, before we were using staff as volunteers, whatever. Since this is an organized program, is there going to be an application where there's going to be a fee like there is in school, or is that still being discussed?
Currently, this was some of the funding we get from JCPC. I think they take care of the memberships for our members. So really, the kids that come to our program in this county, there's no membership fee. Usually it's $10 a year, the $10 a week fee. That's what our regular fees are, but JCPC program, that funding, offsets that cost for those young people coming.
Well, I'm glad Commissioner Pierce brought that up because I'll be the first one to say that $10 a year would not stop a kid here in Warren County coming here if we had to put some contributing funds to it to help that out. And I'm saying personal funds to sponsor a kid to come here. And I'm sure that we all have done that in times past. So we'll work what we can do to make sure these kids get what they need.
We have a practice that we never turn a child away.
Right.
My kids have jobs, and so we want to serve kids. And so we've never turned a child away because of a lack of financial means. I'm a former club kid myself, so I know the impact, the positive impact that it has on a young person. I wouldn't be here today without my local boys and girls club. So it does make a difference.
Well, we thank you.
So thank you all so much.
All right. Mr. Jones, we skipping over number 5.
Chair, yes, we had a little miscommunication. I think the sheriff will try to be here this evening, but if you can go ahead with your agenda.
Okay. Ms. Bradford. It's time for your interrogation.
Okay, the budget amendment is first. Would you like me just to briefly run through what we're doing in this budget amendment?
We can do it in about 2 minutes.
This amendment increases appropriations in the Board of Elections budget by $37,980.25 to budget spending of additional grant funds that were received from the Center for Checking Civic Life and USC Schwarzenegger Institute. These funds are to be used exclusively for public purposes of planning and operationalizing safe and secure election administration in Warren County in 2020 and to help fund the hiring of poll workers. It also increases appropriations in the animal control budget by $16,700, which represents the balance of donations received but not spent from previous years. The balance of these funds, which remain unspent at the end of the current fiscal year, will be transferred to a liability account at the end of the fiscal year, which will enable tracking of the funds for future spending. Increases appropriations in the emergency management budget by a little over $58,000, which represents unspent grant funds which were received in fiscal year 2020, but unspent as of June 3rd. Some of these, a little over $45,000 represents COVID stimulus funds received, and little over $13,000 represents the balance of emergency management performance grant supplemental funding. And there's an increase to appropriations in the health department budget of $15,000 to cover an additional funding authorization for the preparedness program. And we are increasing appropriations in the DSS administration budget by $917.60, which represents 2 additional funding authorizations received from Duke Energy Progress Energy Neighbor Fund. And there's another increase in appropriations in the DSS budget. This is for public assistance, and that's for $20,480, which represents funds received in fiscal year 2019 for the special children's adoption program, but they will never spend.
You know I didn't miss it.
Is that 2 minutes?
I don't know. So, thank you, Mr. Bradford. So, I guess my question would be, I think everything's in line. Are you looking for approval tonight, or this is for the consensus to move it to our November meeting for approval? Is that, Mr. Jones is shaking his head on that.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Shaking his head on what?
He's saying he has to move it to November, right?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
So, I asked the Board of Commissioners, first, if there are any questions of Ms. Bradford and what she just presented to us? All right, is there a consensus to move it to our November meeting? Thank you. So, Ms. Bradford, you may continue.
The next, and I apologize for not getting this to you before tonight. Angelina, have these been given out? Pardon? Oh, they already did. Okay. All right, there's and information, and I'll just sort of briefly go over it. The first one is a spreadsheet of sales tax collection during the 6-month period, March of 2019 through August of 2019, compared to March of 2020 through August of 2020, in an effort to, try to see the impact of, the impact, if any, of COVID on our sales tax revenues. And, as you can see by the spreadsheet, every month of the 6 months comparative period reflected an increase this year over this period over the previous 6 months at the same time, except for the month of May. And then actually, the last 2 months, July and August collections have a pretty good increase. So mostly that's good news that COVID did not, have on this one revenue source at least, which is the second largest revenue source in the county general fund. It doesn't appear to negatively impact us too negatively. The second report is a comparison of a few categories of the actual revenues in the general fund compared to the budgeted revenues. And again, this is not all of them, but I pulled out the property taxes, which is the largest source, sales taxes, which is the second largest source, and then a couple of the next, actually 2 categories that happen to appear in our general ledger. But as of September 30th, we had received about 23% of our budgeted property tax revenue. And the sales tax really only reflects 1 month of collections because our sales tax collections run a month and a half behind the period of collections. And so July sales tax money are received in September, August are received in October, so August is not reflected in this report, so that's just showing 1 month. And then of course there's excise tax and the other taxes and licenses, and then some of the unrestricted intergovernmental, and some of those you can't really judge at this time because payments in lieu of taxes we only see once a year, that's the beginning, so we wouldn't have those yet, or in state beer and wine tax we receive once a year in May, and so we wouldn't have that for this year either. The third report is a revenue comparison report of the general fund revenues, all categories for fiscal year 2020 as compared to fiscal year 2019. The 2020 numbers are unaudited, and our auditors are currently working on our fiscal year 20 audit, but I don't expect there to be too many changes to this information. And there's a sheet that just gives you some general information about the different categories of sales tax. And then the report, it shows you what we collected in fiscal 2019 by line item and fiscal year 2020, and then the increase or decrease, and then the category percentage increase or decrease over the previous year. You can see that the property taxes increased about 2% over the previous fiscal year. Sales taxes increased 6.76% over the previous fiscal year. I won't read all of the categories or line items, but if If anybody, after you've had a chance to look at them, and if you have any questions, if you could maybe let us know, if you want to let us know later, I can try to get back to you. If that's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Does anybody have any
Just
questions?
like, you have your hand up?
No.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay. All right, I think we'll be fine, Ms. Bradford. Thank you for your report. All right. All right, I just saw the sheriff walk in. Sheriff, we'll yield to you. We'll go back to you. We'll yield to you at this time, please.
Good evening.
I'm here for you to give you a little information. That would affect us in the long run. I'm sitting on a sheriff working group for the North Carolina Sheriff Association, 13 sheriffs. And the government got a group out there. The legislature got a group out there. The police association got a group. What these groups are doing is coming up and trying to come up with ideas to reform law enforcement across the state of North Carolina. And one of the two big things that really impact us is that they're going to change the standards for it. When we hire people, they must be certified before they go to work. And right now, it's allowed us a year to get people certified. There's telecommunicators, law enforcement, and detention officers. All of us must be certified before they go to work, start work and day. Right now, we put them in a training officer, and now they arrive with a training officer, they go to the other east, or go to the basic school. So they say that's a must to happen. So if that happens, what can happen to us? We can have to compete. We have 2 schools, 4 schools, 2 in Halifax and 2 in Grand Rapids, basic law enforcement schools. And what the maximum is about 20 people out each. And 20 people, all the surrounding have to fight for them 20 people. Too. So it would affect us by, if we look at the high rate, I'm gonna be paying high rate, I'm gonna want to take over detention and stuff like that. So that's one of the biggest things that will be facing us. It had not been a time frame set of when it would be, but they say it's definitely coming. And another thing that's definitely coming, they say is they're trying to get uniform law enforcement across the state of North Carolina. And they can do that by having a statewide program of accreditation. Everybody that must be accredited or to maintain some status of getting grants and stuff from the state of North Carolina. If you don't have your accreditation, you will not be able to apply for grants and stuff in the state of North Carolina. Any questions about them too?
Sure. I do have a question. In regards to the number of classes that have been offered in the past, is that just due to how much interest there was, or was that because of just the limit? So were they just having 2 classes at the different campuses because that's all the interest that was, shown, or was there another reason behind it?
No, ma'am, it's the time frame that we talk, it's 300, about 60. I credit an hour, the number of hours they put in, they talk about increasing that. So the number of hours they in, they won't allow guys from middle college to have 2 schools a year. They have one that started in January and one that started in August.
Yeah, they just typically run 2 classes a year, like the sheriff is saying, by the credit hours through the community college. So they typically just run 2 classes, like you said, one in early January and the other in August. I don't even think, Sheriff, you help me on that. I don't even think they have the capacity to offer more classes. What do you think?
No capacity to offer any more classes. They give it 2 training in based on the hours and the academic
That's
They
right.
have to take it.
So would they be able to offer at other campuses?
Now, that I don't know, but
Yes, I can understand, yes, it's offered at all the counties, but with offered at all the counties, you want to be sheriffs and the law enforcement in that area, you're gonna basically gonna get them.
right. Cause you only have, in this around the area, what the sheriff's saying, you got Vance Graham and you got Halifax that run these classes, and that's all you're dealing with. You got these 4 classes a year.
But I mean, like Vance Gramble, for instance, they have the different campuses, or do they only run it at the main campus in Vance County? Can they run it at Franklin campus as well? Can they run it at the Granville
This
campus?
is the main campus.
Cause you're dealing with certified officers to run these classes with the certified director. And then they bring in certified officers to administer the different classes to be signed off on through trainings and standards. Am I correct, Sheriff?
Yes, sir, certified instructors, statewide certified instructors.
Exactly.
So the state provides these.
Yes.
The state don't provide them, they get state certified.
State certified.
The other thing they talk about it, but it might not happen, is it's going to like the Iowa Joe, the Dome Camp, everybody get one school. They would have over 4 or 5 schools across the state, they'll make the state into the school is open. But them just 2 main things, is a whole lot of other stuff out there, reporting form, how you report, when you separate somebody, you discipline somebody, it can be mandatory that we fill out, F9 form, some of the sheriff, police chief won't fill it out. And one of the biggest things that we, talk about, is more, I wouldn't, say this, but it was said in video, but the ones that did not, that leave in other agencies for disciplinary reasons, did go to another agency. They gonna cut that out. They're gonna put in a nationwide system to track people with bad conduct and stuff in law enforcement.
Sure. If they already know it's difficult for y'all to hiring practices, and I believe that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that because you are able to hire somebody and put them with a training officer, and you have a year to, develop that person and see where they are, why are they taking that from you if that's one of your benefits is coming to the sheriff's office?
Well, Mr. Daly asked a good question, sir. They're taking away from you because these sheriffs and police, the recent sheriff in the last 5 to 10 years has been abusing the system. And when they come, they've been tracking, they come to find out here, some sheriff have been asking for extension. And some of them asked for extension, and people did not certify up to 3 years.
Oh, okay.
So we are the one that were obeying the rules and regulations, we being punished for the one that wasn't.
I understand. Okay.
Excuse me,
Yes, sir.
the statewide accreditation, is that something new?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They're coming out with some of them working, yes, there be something new too.
Do they have a time frame with this?
None of them have a time frame yet.
It's just-
It just, it's coming out the working group.
Gotcha, okay.
The government have his group, the legislature have theirs, and they probably presented in the next legislative, session.
Okay.
But he said definitely coming.
Okay,
That's a lot of work
I heard.
to be accredited.
Yes, sir.
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
What he told us was saying, what telling me is that if you don't do certain things, you ain't got to have policy stuff to cover that. You can be profiled and build upon what you do.
Yes, sir.
And the cost of that, the back then is saying about, for a small agency like us, be about $450,000 a year. But it's coming, so I thought it'd be good for me.
Yeah.
So you know that it's coming, so y'all be thinking.
I appreciate it, Sheriff. Is that the end of your report? You got some more for us?
So,
Is that the end of your report?
in the basic, they take us basic, but it's some different stuff. They put change forms and important stuff, tracking stuff, and discipline actually there. No power, we don't affect on the kind of budget, yeah.
It seems to me our HR director about to get a whole lot of work.
Sir?
Have you met our new HR director?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, all right. So she's about to be busy. Yeah, so, Sheriff, I want to thank you for coming out.
Will sponsor it on the speaker.
Sir?
If you need what's the speaker, you need policy straight, that's what it's gonna be big.
Okay, Mr. Kingsbury too. Well, Sheriff, we want to thank you, you and your staff for what y'all been doing during COVID. And I know it's been challenging, but we want to really thank y'all for what you've been doing and staying on point. And I know it's been a lot, but we do really appreciate it.
Commissioner Davis said, she said that, I hope not exactly where they can start doing jury trials in January. And our plan just got presented by the Affordable Bill. Good reason. And we got to go for get ready for that. We doing court trials and adding 4 times.
4 times a week. And I bet they got a huge backlog.
Yes, sir. But they ain't taking so many at a time.
Yes, sir.
And you know, folks that run the highway, they run all them tickets, they're killing us.
Oh, I'm not familiar with those guys, sir. I'm not familiar with those guys.
I'm not thinking, I'm just making a comment.
I know you are, Sheriff.
Just came around like that.
Well received, Sheriff. Well received. Well received.
Anything else, ladies?
No, sir.
No, I think he wants you to sit down now.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna get past that one, but anyway. Thanks again, Sheriff.
Thank you, too.
All right, we're gonna get back on point to item number 7, which is the budget book, and that's Ms. Oliver. Oh, I'm sorry, County Manager.
Sure. No,
We're co-hosting this evening.
no, Ms. Duncan will definitely take the lead. I just wanted to do a quick overview. This is a significant accomplishment for the county.
True.
It's one of the things that we had on our list to do when I arrived, and with Ms. Duncan's help, we were able to get this implemented. And so, as you know, we put our capital line after our budget is approved. We also put a line item document up as well. But that doesn't really help explain to our residents what's included in the budget, what all employees are included in each department, how the departments are organized. And so we now have created a document that outlines the budget for every department. It puts it in a summary form to make it more digestible for our residents, provides an org chart for the department, and an overview of some of the issues. And we're also going to include performance indicators. And so this is a great first step for the organization and effort that Ms. Duncan is able to get up to speed amongst all the other things that she's doing for us. But this is a significant accomplishment. And so I wanted to, one, let you all know that we were able to get it done, and then 2, thank Ms. Duncan for her effort in getting it accomplished for us. And this is a best practice from the Government Finance Officers Association.
Okay. Yeah, it really spells it out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I do have a few pages. I am screen sharing on your screen, and then, Paul, are we able to? Yeah, there we go.
Just not doing it exactly right.
Gotcha. So the folks here at the Armory can check out there, but y'all should be able to see on your laptops right in front of you, and the folks at home can see as well. Just a few highlights. So what you're looking at now, this is, never mind that it's our debt service page, but this is generally, apart from the budget message, what our budget has looked like when we put it up online. And so for folks who are working inside county government, we can read this. But for folks at home and the public, it's difficult to understand what this means. So that's Mr. Jones's point. The budget book helps take this kind of information and put it in a narrative and story form for us. So this will go, our budget book will go on the website after tonight. It'll be on our finance page with the other budget documents. So this is the title page, just to give you a little snippet. And inside the budget book, it has lots of sections. I mean, it's 164 pages of riveting reading, but it's, you know, we start off here on page 8. We have some county information here, Warren County at a glance, that's a few pages. We have, we're able to And I want to give a shout out to Eric Hilliard in our GIS department, who anytime I ask him to make a map for me, he does it. And so there's several maps that we did not have before that are in this budget book. This is a fairly straightforward one. It just outlines y'all's districts in the county and puts the district and township names on there. But those are lovely photos there, and it points out what districts where you're at, so that folks can get a better sense of representing them and what that looks like geographically. We, have our budget calendar in there, and this will, apart from some of the state specifics, folks can get a sense of how many months, I mean, really budget starts before this, but how many months we spend and what that budget process looks like. We put in your strategic planning goals that you worked on, so this is just page 1, you're just gonna see around infrastructure and recreation, but right at the beginning of the budget book, we outline those that you built at your retreat this year and have worked on over the last few months, and those go into the budget book as well. And just, as Mr. Jones said, we worked on creating graphs. So this one here is an example of the FY21 approved budget, but it allows folks to see where the expenditures lie. So for example, I know it's a little small on the screen, but educating our citizens, we spend a little over 17% of our budget educating our citizens. And you see the breakdown there between Warren County Schools and Advanced Scramble. Meeting human needs, about 27% of our budget, and you see the departments that fit under that. Meeting community needs, 9% of our budget. Protecting the public and responding to emergencies, almost 29% of our FY21 budget. And then general administration, about 18%, 18% of our budget. So again, it's about visually representing those ledger sheets in a way that our public, and quite honestly, our staff can see and see how our tax dollars are spent. Again, just to give a shout out to Eric, this is an example of a map that he put together for us. So it shows you, when we talk about fire services in the budget, you can see where your districts are, where your stations are, and where the fire districts overlay your commissioner districts. So again, just building out our graphics is part of that narrative for our county. And to follow up our putting on this graph for our fire tax rates and things like that. So, and then this is the last thing, I'll show you a bulk of our budget book or department summaries. Sometimes they're 2 pages, for departments like public utilities, there's several pages. But this is a way for you, for folks at home, for our departments to go through and see what services our departments provide, what account numbers they fall under, the mission of their departments, how many full-time positions are authorized, the accomplishments from the previous fiscal year, and then different trends and issues affecting the fund, the resources that are needed, looking at building out our performance indicators. So this is something that some departments, like Cheryl, the library, they do a really great job with measuring their performance. Other departments, we're going to build that. That's an opportunity to build that strength. That it's a chance for us to say, okay, how are the dollars breaking down, and how do we measure that against our indicators? And then again, looking at your expenditure revenue details for each department, so it's not just that ledger sheet. And this is the last page I think I pulled out for you this evening. We do have an appendices, and it just explains different things like what is the budget process. It includes your ordinance. It includes fee schedules, as well as some charts on our full-time positions, our basis of budgeting, and then our debt service. And yeah, that's it. It'll go up tomorrow. I hope on the website if you're interested in looking at the whole thing. Any questions?
Any questions, Board of Commissioners? Comments?
Great job.
Thank you.
A lot of them. Very nice. I read.
this right here, I think will be awesome for our citizens to see where everything is happening at, you know, where the money is going and how we're applying it. And basically, they see how effective county government is utilizing their dollars. And I don't know which one of y'all gets the total credit for this, but I think y'all gonna share it. But look, that is awesome. It is really, it really speaks volumes.
Very good.
It really does. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. And I encourage the citizens that's listening, hey, please go on there. You say be on that tomorrow?
I will work on getting it up tomorrow. So barring any size restrictions on our website, we'll troubleshoot that with IT and get it up tomorrow.
Okay.
Big document, but there's a lot of pictures, a lot of graphs.
Okay. All right. Ms. Weldon, can you work with us, get the word out that this will be available to our citizens?
I'm planning to write an article.
Thank you very much. Hey, there you go. All right. Thank you, Ms. Duncan. Thank you, County Manager, Mr. Jones. All right. If that's it for that, we'll go right to Mr. number 8, which is Mr. Kingsbury. He's going to give us amendment surplus property policy. Mr. Kingsbury, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. In your package, if you need a copy, let me know. I'll pass it around. It is an amended surplus property policy. I made some changes, and they are highlighted in red and bolded. According to some concerns from commissioners, the first change that was made on page 2, we put a bidding restriction for bidders who do not follow through with their payments. We've had it happen a few times. So bidding privileges of winning bidders that fail to make payment within the required period of time shall be suspended for 6 months for failure to pay. So that's one recommendation. Also, we have not used the process for letting the county manager award bids since I've been county attorney. And I also, in my research, didn't see proper authority for doing that with real property. We can do it with personal property, up to $30,000, but real property, those bids need to come before the board. So that section I would recommend deleting from the policy. Everything else would remain the same. Just to clarify, we use gov deals and public surplus for our bidding. It talks about the time limit for bidding, the number of times we will put surplus property out, and also the winning bid. If that winning bid is not followed through on, the property is offered to the second highest bidder. So we just wanted to clarify those things in the policy and ensure your approval. You can do it tonight or in November. It's up to you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kingsbury. Board of Commissioners, do y'all have any questions for Mr. Kingsbury at this time? Ms. Pierce, I think this is yours, right? Yeah. Is it to satisfactory?
It's to my satisfaction. I like the improvements that are done.
All right. If there is no objections, then I find that there is a consensus to move this to our November meeting for approval. Is that okay, Mr. Kingsbury?
That's okay.
Thank you, sir. All right, thank y'all. All right. Number 9, and this is a discussion of public hearing amendment to the zoning ordinance, and I'm going to go to Mr. Jones, and you can bring us up on that, sir.
Sure, thank you, Chair. This is follow-up to your public hearing that you held at your last meeting. There were 2, and the one that's before you this evening for your consideration or discussion has to do with the amendment to our zoning ordinance that address some changes to our height restrictions in the county. And so Mr. Kulik will come up, if you could come on up, Mr. Kulik, to help with this discussion. As you know, the county had worked through some recommendations and requests from economic development, worked its way through the planning board, and the recommendation came to look at our height restrictions in the county because we wanted to proactively allow for potential economic development. And so with that recommendation came back some changes in height restrictions. And the changes were to change current height restrictions in 5 districts from 40 feet to 60 feet, 50 feet to 100 feet, 75 feet to 100 feet. And so those districts were lakeside business, neighborhood business, heavy business, light industrial, and heavy industrial. And so the heavy business and the light industrial and heavy industrial, those all have the larger height allowances. The lakeside business and neighborhood business is where we see the 40 feet height restriction climb to 60 feet. But there is another caveat that we've seen, and that is the county, with our countywide zone, we now have a mixed use zoning designation in our countywide zoning. And that's normal now, as you see in development, there are multiple uses to a development. The issue that has come to be of concern to some of our residents has to do with our mixed-use development, which we call a planned unit development commercial. That district would be allowed in certain instances if they were approved for a conditional use permit on a project to go up to 100 feet. And so that's the text amendment. Mr. Cooley can add to that, but for your discussion is, if you have any questions about those height restrictions, concerns about them, or just questions about what would be acceptable here in the county, we are here to help you answer any of those questions.
Mr. Cooley?
Good evening, and great job, County Manager, to just on my conduct would be great.
Okay.
Retain.
A little bit of history though. If you recall from the initial presentation that I made, this actually was a recommendation from the planning board, but it has some history to it prior to that. Around the first of the year, or actually the end of last year, I was approached by one of our department directors, the EDC director at the time, to look at making adjustments to our height in our zoning ordinance. And I was making discussions for looking at trying to enhance development opportunities that are interchangeable. The current regulations that we have with the height, you see 40 feet in the commercial districts, and then the 50 and 75 in the industrial, those were all based off of historically the original 1985 zoning ordinance designations. And those carried over even when we had done revisions to the zoning ordinance, because 9 years ago, there wasn't as much push or as much interest from folks to develop interchanges. So we just kept it consistent. And so fast forward now to about a year ago, when I had conversations with CC Woodhouse to see about making some potential changes, and that came to impetus for presenting recommendations, as you see before you, for the March meeting of the planning board, where they made a recommendation to take these changes and present them to you for consideration.
Okay. The other side I'm interested in, I'm gonna ask Ms. Duncan, since you've been interim, have you had any research on what kind of impact this would have on business, Ms. Duncan? Business development throughout the county?
And you're speaking to the changes in the height?
Correct.
The height table?
Absolutely.
So I think that in looking at our neighboring counties, what we have is pretty consistent with what our neighboring counties have. I think that it's important to look at the current residential height that's applied here on the chart. So for your agricultural residential, your residential lakeside, and your residential, you see your height maximum of 35 feet. I do think that it's important to look at that in comparison to our current height for business. So if you have a 3 or 4 story home, totaling about 35 feet, about 10 feet per floor, what is that in comparison to a multi-story building at 40 feet, knowing that 14 foot per floor? So I think that it's important to consider that when you're looking at the types of businesses that we might be able to recruit in the future. But the current heights that we have on the table are consistent with what we're seeing in our neighboring counties. Does that help at all, or?
No, I'm looking for growth. I think the recommendation here is in 40 to 60, lakeside business.
So.
What the recommendation here, is that consistent with what we should be looking at?
Well, I think it's a judgment call on your end, right? So it depends on the kinds of businesses that we want to be attracting. Currently, we have only one business that we've been in communication with who is looking at exceeding that, right? So if you were looking at the types of businesses that we want to be recruiting, our current portfolio of properties that we might have available, I think that extending our height, growing our height maximum is just a matter of the types of businesses that we want to be attracting here. I think depending on the county, it just depends. It's a judgment call on our end.
All right, so I'm gonna revert back to the Board of Adjustments. This is their recommendation.
No, sir, that could be planning board.
I mean, planning board, I'm sorry, the planning board. This is their recommendation, and this is what they see.
Correct, so this was based on the research that was done and the request to put forth these changes. And then doing my research, looking at neighboring counties, looking at jurisdictions, and also taking a look at current codes. And this something was spot on. When we look at residential development, in terms of a floor or story, it's usually 10 foot. But then you're going to have a greater increase for more commercial or industrial development because you consider ceiling height, and then also the mechanical workings that go above the ceiling, and these days internet, plumbing, HVAC. That has to be 4 feet, and then building materials, that's where we get that 14-foot benchmark. And that's actually kind of a standard that you see. It might be a little bit less, but the average is usually 14 feet. So based on that information is where these measurements came from. And as an example, you know the Hampton Inn in Henderson, that's a 70-foot building with 5 stories. So that gives you a comparison.
There's a 70-foot building in Henderson.
That's correct. The Hampton Inn Hotel in Henderson is 70 feet. At 5 stories.
Okay. Board of Commissioners, y'all have anything to add to that?
That Hampton Inn that you're referring to, is that right off the interstate? Sort of?
Yes, it's,
Okay.
next to a Chiefs gas station.
Okay.
Right near 85.
Okay,
Right in front of the hospital.
right, that's okay.
Okay. So that would be consistent for, I guess, the high impact here. Moving it from 75 to 100. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, again, looking, if you take 100 feet divided by 14, you're going to get 7 stories.
Okay.
And also, as was mentioned earlier by the county manager, within the PUD CR conditional use provision, there is an option for developer that they were seeking in terms of having that maximum of 100 feet. But again, it's an option to go that high. It doesn't mean they're going to go up to 100 feet, just to have that option over and above the 60 feet you see in different business and lifestyle business. But the PUD CR mixes our commercial uses and residential in the same property. That's where we get that mixed use designation. So the idea was that in terms of if they needed to have some greater height requirements for what they would use for lakeside business uses or neighborhood business uses, to have that option to go to a little bit higher height than just 60 feet.
Right. I think that the lakeside business and the neighborhood business, I see what that says, but do we want to go up to 100 feet? Are we gonna have a hotel that's greater than 70 feet on the interstate?
That I can't answer. I just know that the big project that's before the Board of Adjustment right now is the Chateau of the Lake. But I've had occasional calls about what our restrictions are over the years about putting in potential hotels at the interstates. But that's even before the last year or so. I've had that a few times over the last 13 years of doing the county.
But that's lakeside business.
Well, actually, that's for the neighborhood business and lakeside business. The Chateau of the Lake is only lakeside business zoning district.
And y'all recommend 60 feet for that.
Well, that's for the lakeside business as a whole. So when you look at all the properties in the zone lakeside business, that we could simply match for. On a conditional use permit request for a PUD CR, there is also the provision being proposed to add up to 100 feet as an option, but only as part of that conditional use permit for a PUD CR or a mixed use development. But the lakeside business as a whole in general would have a max of 60.
Well, Commissioner, help me out this with the economic development. I'm a little weary on the 100 feet. I mean, you know, I really am. I'm weary on that.
Well, I guess from my perspective, you know, how many businesses are we going to recruit that's going to require that height? You know, it's not like, I mean, I was at Virginia Beach some years ago, but that's consistent, those tall buildings all the way down the shoreline. But, you know, to have, is that what the county wants? You know, these tall buildings scattered here and there. You know, and here again, I think that goes back to what the director said, you know, what is it that we want? But I have gotten a lot of responses from the citizens down there, and I think they have some reservations about something of that height. Right now, I'm still, you know, contemplating which way to go with it, but we don't want to stop growth in the county, you know. But at the same time, I think we have to be sensitive to those folks that made tremendous investments on that lake under the assumption that it was, 40 feet at the time, you know. So if there is a compromise, you know, and that's just a thing out loud. But if there is a compromise, I think that's something that we should really consider, because I do think 40 is not tall enough, especially when we have houses that can go 35, if I heard you correctly. Okay. So, you know, not just my fault, I'm still kind of contemplating this whole thing. I don't know about
You did. I think the 40 to 60 is I guess that medium barrier there, I guess. I'm comfortable with that. The 100 maybe. I mean, how much of impact if we just stayed at 75?
Well, it's 75, you divide that by 14, you're looking at five stories. Again, the benchmark that we used was an average of 14 feet, so that's where we started working the measurements. And again, that's why I offered the hotel as an example. 5 stories, 14 feet, comes to 70 feet for that particular hotel.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, that is the tallest one in Vance County.
Yes.
But they have several.
Correct. Historically, most hotels, again, decades ago, 2 stories, maybe 3 stories. But now we travel around the interstates and the country, you're going to see more 5 and 6 story hotels on the interstates.
On the interstate, okay. Mm-hmm.
So historically, yes, 2 story, 3 story, that was kind of normal. There's more of a move to 4 and 5 stories.
So I definitely want to hear from the other commissioners on this. So Commissioner Pierce, I hear you if you have any comments.
Let me just make sure this is amendment to our entire zoning ordinance. It's just not on the lake and whatever the case is.
Correct, yeah.
Because, I'm thinking also about Triangle North, which we've spent quite a bit of investment on. And if we're forward thinking of what might be, we have to consider that area of the county as well. And I'm afraid to keep it the way that it is with the 50 feet or even, with the 50 feet that it is now. So I think we, now that it's presented itself, we do need to update this. But another thing that I'm also concerned about is with us doing this, just putting a number on it, I think it needs to be conditional with what the land can actually withstand. So even though we say, we want up to 75 feet, I think a impact study has to be done so that if the land can't support it, then you don't move forward with it. So I think we should put something in place. I'm not, opposed to going up to, the 60 feet or the 75 feet or something like that. But again, I think being good stewards of the land, that we need to put some conditions in place that go along with that number as well.
Of course.
If possible. That's my opinion on that.
Thank you, Ms. Pierce. Mr. Powell?
No.
Okay.
See about that.
Ms. Baker?
I might be a little bit behind, but I'm wondering, are we to make that decision, or what about the builder? Is he's going to build according to what we want, or is it going to be, I'm not building if I can't do the 100? Where is he standing with this?
I really can't speak for the builder himself.
Let me interject. We're looking at it from from a holistic approach. We're not even targeting at one particular project, because this speaks to our entire zoning.
Correct.
So that's where we are with that.
So you're just worrying about how we want to zone it right now?
How we gonna look holistically, anybody wants to do any business in Warren County? Because I think respectfully, I believe that's the approach that we should take on this.
Okay. Well, still, some of us are thinking about only one building. I heard you say, look how long it's taken us to even think of anybody building one.
Yeah.
We don't know what might come after this. Somebody else might come in and want to build some more,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't know, so we need to, like you said, holistically, we need to think about the whole process. This is just a lake. Next year, we'll come in and be changing it for another section or whatever,
Right.
And I don't know, really, I've stayed in that hotel over there quite a bit. It's not all that high when you look at it. It's not way up in the air. It's not. That hotel is not a skyscraper.
Yeah. I must have drove right past it. Yes, sir.
Do you think if we, and I know you can't, I just want your opinion, I guess. If we stayed around 60, do you think that would adversely affect economic development in Warren County as a whole? Or?
Well, I think there are multiple factors when you look at a project that could, be positive or have an adverse effect, on our county, right? So at some point, when you're looking at conditional uses, you have to, look at it from multiple angles. I think that there are other types of zoning districts that we could look at potentially moving forward with the planning board. And when we look at our comprehensive land use plan, our new one that we're going to do coming up, that could, make certain, if you're worried about Triangle North or you're worried about your interstate exchanges, there are other types of zoning districts and strategies to apply.
Okay.
Without getting into the weeds of that is something that is a thing. So sure, I think that allowing for growth is important. I do think that it needs to be strategic. And there is a certain amount of discretion and judgment that goes into that as well for what is right for the community.
Okay.
So we want to try to bring this to a conclusion. I'm okay, and I'm talking to the Board of Commissioners to get some type of consensus here. I'm okay with the 40 to 60 or just a little bit higher than that. The 4260 being a 60, being a little bit more higher than that. I don't want to go too high than those numbers. The 100 feet, I'm just not there with that. I really am not. Maybe, I don't know 5 feet is going to do anything, but maybe 80. But I'm just not there. I'm just not there with the full 100. I really am not. But of course, it's something that we need to have a consensus to move on in voting on next month. So you have a way in. Mr. Jones?
Sure, thanks, Chair. I just want to make sure that we are clear about the items that you all are considering. And so when you say 100 feet, the chart that Mr. Kruller provided for you shows that those districts are heavy business, light industrial, and heavy industrial. So those are going to be limited areas where their zoning is already such that, those are going to be industry items.
Oh, really?
Right. And so the area that I think you all are having your discussion about really is the lakeside business and neighborhood business where the height goes from 40 to 60. But the issue for your all's consideration really is with the planned unit development, that mixed use zoning category.
Mm-hmm.
There is language in there that would allow development to go up to 100 feet. So I think that's where you probably want to decide where you have some concern about that 100 feet.
And what is it currently? What is it currently?
Well, currently, this is what's before you come to the amendment. So right now, the current conditional use provisions don't have that adjustment. That's why this has been part of the recommendation from the planning.
Okay.
So that's for your consideration. It's something that you include within the conditional use permit provisions for the NCR development.
So I'm definitely, of course, not at 100 on that. So if I had to throw out a number, maybe I guess maybe 70.
Again, 70, that's totally your call. Make that the recommendation.
What a commission. Is there another number?
I'm okay with 70, because we have something visually to compare against being the Hampton Inn in Henderson. And that's probably as large as we would want to see something go. But again, I want to make sure, even with us putting a stamp on it, that, I don't know if it just comes down to the risk of the developer, to make sure the impact isn't so great or detrimental. I don't know if we need to take part of the ownership in that and say, this must be done in order to build up to this height. I'm not sure if we have that authority.
Yeah.
Once we put a number on there.
What impact are you referring to?
Whether it's the land, the soil, any water impact, sewer.
The engineer, wouldn't they have to be?
Those generally go from the state level, so there are state regulations that we follow. If the development does get approved for a conditional use permit of this nature, it's just a local approval that we're doing here in the county. And the developer would be responsible for getting approvals from the state for things like you're talking.
Yeah.
Perfect. So yes, I'm happy with 70.
Yeah, but I do want to add this, and it does piggyback on what Commissioner Pierce said, though. I think that when you're talking about lakeside business, there should be some type of barrier between the two properties. I think that, to be respected of neighborhoods that's out there close to business. So I think that's something we definitely look at, some type of barrier between the two properties.
So there is a requirement in our zoning ordinance currently that between what are called compatible land uses, there is a requirement for a buffer.
Okay.
So that is a requirement. It's a 20-foot buffer, but it is a requirement that has some vegetative buffer in between the land use.
20 feet?
That's the minimum, yes. Developer can always go above that.
Can we expand it?
That would require.
Okay, all right, we'll deal with that. Okay, so I'm hearing 70, Ms. Baker.
That's fine.
Mr. Powell.
Okay.
So it's a consensus of the board that we recommend 70 and the other changes as stated.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Okay, just, go ahead, Mr.
Yeah, so
Johnson.
we really just wanted you all to have this time to have some discussion, to see if there were any questions that you needed us to answer for you all. I think one of the things that I just want to bring your attention is why our countywide zoning and this height restriction affects these districts countywide. Ms. Duncan brought up a great point. We can go back and make adjustments for our interchanges, for example. Our neighbors do have zoning districts that we don't have for our interchanges. And so just for example, if we find that we have development coming and that these height restrictions would limit that, then there will be an opportunity for you all to maybe make some changes to your zoning ordinance to directly impact the interchanges, where I think there's less pushback about building height because we know the opportunity that the interchanges present for themselves. So as long as you all feel like you have had the opportunity to get your questions answered, and even if you have more, just let us know. We'll try to get those answered for you.
Okay, sounds good. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the board, unless y'all have something else, I'll look forward to your, any other discussion that you may have. But we've reached number 10. If there's no other business, I'll move that we adjourn our work session. And I entertain a motion to adjournment.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn our work session.
Second.
Been properly motion by Commissioner Baker, second by Commissioner Hunt, that we adjourn our work session. All in favor, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. We hereby adjourn. Thank y'all. Drive safe.